History made. Chicago-born Robert Francis Prevost becomes Pope Leo XIV, the first American ever to lead the Catholic Church. What will this former Peru missionary and Vatican insider bring to St. Peter's throne? White Smoke delivers daily bulletins tracking this unprecedented pontificate as it unfolds. Will Leo XIV continue Francis's inclusive vision or forge a new path blending American pragmatism with Latin American experience? And what does his papal name choice signal about his priorities? White Smoke. Essential daily insights where ancient tradition meets modern challenge. New episodes every day wherever you get your podcasts.
Calaroga Shark Media.
Pope Leo XIV made an impassioned call for peaceful communication during his inaugural meeting with journalists on Monday, marking his first formal address to the media since his election. Speaking to over 6,000 members of the press gathered at the Vatican, the newly elected pontiff emphasized the crucial role of moderate language in today's heated discourse. I call upon you to consciously disarm communication of prejudice, resentment, and fanaticism, Leo declared in Italian after greeting the crowd in English. What we need is not forceful communication, but rather dialogue capable of listening and amplifying the voices of those who cannot speak for themselves. This is White Smoke. The 69-year-old Augustinian friar, who became the first American-born pope in history, drew sustained applause as he highlighted the plight of imprisoned journalists worldwide. According to Reporters Without Borders, at least 550 reporters remained detained globally as of December 2024. The Church stands in solidarity with those journalists who risk their lives reporting on war and injustice, Leo stated. Their courage in defending human dignity and the public's right to be informed deserves our recognition and support. In a moment that delighted attendees, the Chicago-born pontiff signed a baseball presented by someone in the front row. When a journalist requested a selfie, Leo graciously declined, but warmly shook her hand instead. Leo concluded his 10-minute address by quoting his predecessor, Pope Francis, "Let us disarm words, and we will help to disarm the world." The pontiff then descended from the stage to greet Vatican officials and journalists personally, signing autographs and exchanging words with several attendees. His brother, John Prevost, who travelled from Chicago to witness these historic first days, noted that the new pope appeared remarkably comfortable in his role. What transpired within the sealed confines of the Sistine Chapel offers fascinating insights into papal politics. According to sources close to the Conclave, Cardinal Parolin initially led the voting through Thursday lunchtime, accumulating between 45 and 55 votes, a substantial showing, but still far from the 89 votes required for the necessary two-thirds majority. Cardinal Prevost trailed behind with 34 to 44 votes during these early ballots. However, as Parolin struggled to expand his support through the first three rounds, the Italian cardinal made a pivotal decision that would reshape the entire election. He withdrew from the race and threw his endorsement behind Prevost, according to Sky News sources. The dynamics became even more complex with the presence of two Asian candidates, Cardinal Luis Tagle and Cardinal Pablo Virgilio David. Their competition essentially neutralized both of their chances, as their rivalry prevented either from building the momentum needed for victory. A potential African candidate, representing the Church's most conservative wing, faced insurmountable odds in a conclave dominated by cardinals appointed by Pope Francis, a notably progressive pontiff. The possibility of an American pope had long been dismissed as highly unlikely, given concerns about the geopolitical implications of the United States' global power. Yet Cardinal Prevost managed to transcend these traditional barriers by building an unprecedented coalition. La Repubblica, the Italian newspaper, noted that Prevost certainly attracted cross-party preferences, both ideologically and geographically. The publication emphasized how, in the conclave, he was the least American of Americans. Born in Chicago, he lived 20 years in Peru. This unique background proved instrumental in his appeal across various factions. Moderate American cardinals, South American prelates, and many European cardinals all converged around his candidacy. As La Repubblica observed, as a man used to teamwork, Prevost appeared to many as the right man to make the papacy evolve into a more collegial form. The conclave thus revealed not just the mechanics of papal election, but the delicate balance of regional interests, ideological concerns, and personal relationships that shape the future of the Catholic Church. Cardinal Vincent Nichols, the most senior Roman Catholic leader in England and Wales, described his experience inside the conclave that elected Pope Leo XIV as immensely peaceful. Speaking to BBC Breakfast, the Archbishop of Westminster was one of 133 cardinals sealed inside the Vatican's Sistine Chapel for the highly secretive election that concluded Thursday. At 79 years old, he was among the eldest cardinals eligible to vote. Nobody was saying who to vote for or who to not vote for, Cardinal Nichols revealed. There was no rancor or politicking among the cardinals. It was a much calmer process than that, and I found it actually a rather wonderful experience. The cardinal described how being cut off from all outside communication proved unexpectedly beneficial. With his mobile phone confiscated, he found himself with more time on my hands, just to be prayerful, just to reflect, just to be still, rather than being constantly agitated or prompted by what might be coming in on his device. For me, one of the experiences of these last few days was to learn a bit of patience, to just take this step by step, he explained. There was a calmness, a bit of solemnity. Everyone I spoke to when in it was peaceful and just wanting to do this well. I think it was a short conclave in part because Pope Francis left us with a good inheritance, Cardinal Nichols explained. He left a college of cardinals who were dedicated, who had this desire for the Church to be more missionary, and that led us forward actually very, very easily to the decision that we made. Regarding the newly elected pontiff, Cardinal Nichols described Pope Leo as very decisive in a quiet way. He praised the new pope's ability to make decisions which disappoint people but don't destroy them. A good thing about a pope is if he's able to say no to you when he thinks something is not right, and then give you a hug so you don't go away offended. And I think he's got that ability to do both those things, which is very important. Pope Leo will be formally inaugurated during a Mass in St. Peter's Square on Sunday, with delegations from countries worldwide in attendance.
There's always something brewing behind palace walls, whether it's Prince Harry and Meghan Markle making headlines from afar, or Prince William and Princess Catherine quietly preparing for the future throne. I'm Mark Francis, and on Palace Intrigue, we cover every twist, turn, whisper, and wink. From royal drama to daily gossip, follow Palace Intrigue wherever you get your podcasts.
In Washington, D.C., power flows through information. But what happens when the most sensitive military intelligence in the world ends up on the wrong phone? In the halls of power, a national security advisor makes a fatal miscalculation. On the other side of the world, a special forces team walks into a perfectly orchestrated trap. When the dust settles, 4 American soldiers are dead, 3 more captured. And the most catastrophic intelligence breach in modern history is just beginning to unravel. Signal Lost, a 6-part podcast thriller about betrayal, courage, and the devastating consequences of a world where even our most guarded communications are never truly secure. When everyone is listening, nowhere is safe. Signal Lost, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Feeling overwhelmed by negative news? 5 Good News Stories is your daily dose of what's going right in the world. Like the 103-year-old granny who got caught speeding in her sports car because she was living life to the fullest, or the family who found their missing cat after 3 years when it showed up at their vacation rental. Remember Flop the penguin's incredible comeback after his injury? And that guy who broke the world record for most high fives in 24 hours while raising money for charity? These are the stories that remind us the world is still full of wonder and joy. 5 good news stories. Pure positivity 3 times a week. 5 good news stories, available wherever you get your podcasts. 5 good news stories.